Stacey Washington here, and my pleasure to welcome back to the show Congressman Roger Williams, representing Texas's 25th congressional district. He's at Rep. R. Williams on X. Thank you, sir, for joining in.
All right, Stacey, good to be on the show again. Good to hear from you.
Good to have you back. Good to have you back. Okay, so lots going on in D.C. It's the new year. We're still in the golden era of Trump, and even though the left is resisting with every bit that they have, every bit of might that they have within their little bodies, President Trump is achieving a lot. And I have to say, for Congress, things are looking bright. The priorities for this year, I mean, we've heard a little bit about that, but could you give us some more detail on what you're working on and what you're looking at for this first quarter?
Well, of course, I believe as you do. I think we're going to win the midterms. I think we have a message the other side does not. But there's all kinds of things we're working on. From my standpoint and my committee standpoint, as you know, I chair the Small Business Committee, and we have oversight of the SBA, and I'm also on the Banking Committee, the Financial Service Committee. But, we need to make sure we keep America competitive. I think we're going to have a great year. I think the fact that we've made tax cuts permanent, we've cut regulations for community banks so they can loan money again to small businesses, 100% depreciation on fixed assets. We raised the threshold from 15 to 30 million on the inheritance tax. I mean, all this stuff is going to add to a great year. I've been in business 57 years in the car business, Stacey, and I think that we're looking at one of the best years we've had because of those very things that President Trump has accomplished. But all that being said, we want to keep America competitive. We need to make sure there's access to capital, and reducing regulations to the community banks is going to allow that. And even in the SBA, we've got a bill that's heading to the president's desk after he gets out of the House that raises manufacturing dollars from $5 to $10 million, which will allow big companies to grow their company, hire more people, put more people to work. So anyway, those are the kind of things we're doing. And the bottom line is, as we all know, America is the greatest country in the world, but the biggest asset we have is Americans, and it's Main Street Americans, small business owners that represent 99% of the businesses in our country and 75% of the payroll. So I think it looks great. I'm excited to be a part of it.
I love your energy on this. I agree with you. The midterms are by no means in the Democrats' favor. They do not have a lock on what the American people really want. In fact, I think a lot of what we're seeing with this ICE, quote unquote, resistance and the way they're trying to make routine mass deportation such an issue is because they lack any real cogent connection to the American people. The successes that Americans are seeing right now are connected to President Trump's agenda and the GOP, Congress, and Senate. You mentioned car sales. I want to capitalize on that for a moment because the average age of a vehicle on the American roads it's 12 years old. So a lot of Americans are holding back and waiting for lower interest rates and more favorable economic conditions to purchase a car. I know the interest rates will continue to inch down as President Trump reorders things and partners with the Fed. But what do you think about the car buying atmosphere for 2026? Do people have hope there?
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. As I said, I'm in the business, and the reason and again, President Trump is the reason for this. One of the things we've done is we've passed a bill that allows to write off your car note industry on new cars made in America. That's a huge thing. They haven't been able to do that. He just signed a bill to do away with the CAFE standards that required thousands of government regulations to be attached to a car. Now that's not going to be required. That's going to lower the price of a car. Car industry, car manufacturers are getting easier on creating areas to way to finance a car, like leasing. There's a lot of things happening, and the truth of the matter is, car prices, car deals right now have never been as easy they are to get as they are today. So, being in the business with lower rates, rebates from the factory, price of used cars being up, there's a lot of reasons people want to buy, and a lot of reasons people can buy. I'm excited to be part of that industry too.
So I love that you're in that industry. That's a part of the small business atmosphere that you've been talking about. Car dealers are often, especially in smaller towns, that's a huge driver of not just the economy, but for job creation. So it's on both sides. It's not just people needing to purchase a new car, young people graduating from college who need a new car, but it's also those business owners. I also wanted to talk to you, and this is where the rubber meets the road for me. Trade schools for our youth. This is an area where you're very strong. You're speaking into this and actually trying to create a more a positive environment for people to choose trades, which we actually have low numbers in that area for employees in the country right now.
Right, and the greatest country in the world with the greatest opportunities in the world should not be short of plumbers, welders, and carpenters. And I've been a proponent of this forever, even when I was Secretary of State of Texas. We have 100,000 kids, Stacy, dropping out of school in the ninth grade, just in Texas alone, for example, because they're losing hope, and they don't think they can go to a four-year college or whatever. Well, we need to be able to show them, no, you don't need to go to a four-year college. You need to go to trade school, graduate without student debt, and start your own business and put people to work. And we don't have an economy that's an economy until you have an amount of the plumbers, welders, carpenters. And, I've got several bills out there, one of which is if a young person is applying to a state school, that state school has to show them what the tuition is, but also has to show them what the tuition would be going to a trade school, so they can see the difference. We want these young people to know. And I also don't see why we can't have four-year colleges beginning to offer degrees in plumbing, welding, and carpentry. I mean, there'd be no reason any four-year school, University of Texas, Baylor, TCU, whoever, why couldn't they offer a plan to graduate plumbers, welders, carpenters, and you'd have a degree from a major college, and you'd turn into a great alumni. So I think there's a lot of opportunities there. There's a lot of businesses that want to start these classes up because, again, getting back to car business, we need mechanics, and it's no longer using a screwdriver and a hammer. I mean, it's electronics. It's a lot of things that fix these cars. So we're very big on that. We're going to create more legislation to let kids know you don't have to go to four-year school to be successful.
So I love that. What I find exciting about that is how many people, we've actually not just seen this on television, but and of course it's anecdotal, but the numbers support. Data shows that if you're an electrician right now in the year of our Lord 2026, you have a huge chance of reaching millionaire status running a business where you fix the electricity in people's homes, or maybe you're, working on the commercial side because there's such high demand. And so we need more students to basically have hope. What you were talking about when you said these kids are dropping out, all they're being told is, when you go to college, when you spend 4 years in college, when you borrow $250,000 to go to college, and they just want to work. And there are some people who are made for college. I have a few of those at my household that my husband and I, by the grace of God, there are kids. But there are also kids out there who are going to be successful as adults, but they don't have to go to a four-year college to do that. And so your focus on this is exactly what's needed right now with these kids to save them and give them a chance here. This is a great country, and they should be able to do that.
Well, and they won't have the student debt either, which is another issue. So, people will discount. Well, you ask the salesman to lower the price on a car. You ask the salesman to lower the price on your clothes, whatever. But nobody asks the plumber, welder, or carpenter to discount his services. When we need those services, we just need them to come. And that's why this is important. And we'll close our gap, our labor gap, if we focus on these young men and women to be professional plumbers, welders, carpenters, as I like to say, and the income they'll generate and be great taxpayers for years to come.
So last question here, sir. We thank you so much for joining us tonight. The great state of Texas was ground zero during the last administration for illegal entry and for just, it was overwhelming for the great state of Texas, where that's my birth state. So I'm very, very, very partial to Texas. And the rest of us around the country watched as Governor Abbott worked hard with your National Guard and tried to make sense of it. How are things on the ground there now, a year into the Trump administration?
Well, they're unbelievable. Zero crossings, Stacy. You've seen it. Isn't that unbelievable what President Trump has done with the wall and putting more border patrol and supporting law enforcement against this illegal behavior? Remember, these people are coming here illegally. They're breaking the law, and that's the whole story right there. We want them to come through the ports of entry, but not between the ports of entry and tear equipment up. And we've seen now that there's zero crossings. The last several reports we got, it's pretty unbelievable. That's what this president has done by supporting law enforcement and, frankly, down there, Border Patrol. And look in Texas, we've done a great job. We even spent $11 billion, actually $15 billion of money that should have been spent by the federal government, Joe Biden, to build the wall at Texas so we could begin to stop this illegal behavior and drug behavior. So we know what to do in Texas. Governor Abbott's done a great job. President Trump's done a great job. And we've sent a message to America. If you want to come here and realize the dream, come through the ports of entry. If you come between the ports of entry, you're going back home.
I cannot wait to see even further into the Trump administration the great things that the state of Texas is able to do in a law and order environment, which is what the Americans voted for when we elected President Trump. Congressman Roger Williams, Texas's 25th Congressional District, one of the best places on earth. Thank you, sir.
Oh, Stacey, God bless. Thank you.
All right. Good to talk to you.